Alright, so the first thing I'm going to ask you, when's it coming out? Because that's what I want.
Never! It's never coming out.
That's
I'm going
what-
to keep it for myself, and everybody else will go be damned.
Just watch it in a cold, dark cave by yourself.
Yep.
You can't do that. That's not fair. Humanity deserves to know. Well, when are we going to see it? Because, okay, I did get to see Act 1 and 2, and they're awesome. And that's even before, you know, everything has been added, everything's been done. There's still more to be done, but you're getting close. Like, when would you say that, what's a feasible time frame we're talking about? Well, I guess we should start that really then, by when did the project start?
In earnest or whatever?
Yeah, in earnest.
After the story was written, 2006, I guess it was. That's when we started making all the costumes.
So, you wrote the story first, and it took you how long?
About 8 months.
8 months.
And I did that in 2005. So I had the story finished probably the fall of 2005, right in the fall, you know, around October maybe or something like that.
Now, is that everything or just Resurrection? Or did you have all of it written?
No, that was mainly just the resurrection and then the backstory to everybody. I definitely had to write Resurrection, I had to go back and write the first part. So, not so much write it, but figure everything out, you know. And I did a lot of writing. I mean, I have a lot of writing. I just haven't put it together, but I had to go back and, you know, the best way to figure that stuff out is to write it out so you can piece it together. Right.
See what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. You know, see where it's going to lead you to. Because you want to make sure the characters remain true to themselves right throughout the whole piece. You know, they don't abruptly change or something. So, anyways, yeah. So, and then after that, while we were during 2006 building the costumes, props, sets, and everything else, I continued to write. But it was just to, you know, to figure more stuff out and to tie everything in together and everything. Because, you know, we had to make, I couldn't do what I wrote.
What do you mean by that? Like explain that.
I couldn't do what I wrote. There was no way. The logistics of it was just, no, it'd have to be a multi-million-dollar project for you to do that. We couldn't do that as a fan film, so I had to make it into a certain way, so I really had to augment the real story of Resurrection. I mean, it's still there and everything, but, you know, things have been moved around, changed around, advanced forward a little bit, you know. Some information has been restricted, so to speak.
Do you think that there will ever come a time where that information will be made available? Because I think a lot of people are going to watch the movie, and, you know, if they like it, which they will, in my personal opinion, they're going to want to know more. There's going to be more that they want to know about the characters and their backgrounds and past history and whatnot. How is that going to be made available? Or if, or when will that information be available for that fan that gets into the film so much that they want to know everything that they possibly can?
Well, they can go to the website and get all the backstory for the characters. The majority of it's there, and that's really all that's on the website. It's just to get you caught up and ready for the film. You know, so reading the characters' bios and all that stuff, that's where you're going to find the backstory for Resurrection right now. Probably, most likely. People will never see it, but let's say if the film happened to do well and they wanted to see a full story, well, I might sit down and write it all out. Or at least combine what I have, you know, and post it or put it up on the net or whatever so they can read the completed, you know, version of it or whatever. But only if there was a demand for it, because I'm not going to really just waste my time doing it. I wrote what I needed to get Resurrection done. Although there's, you know, although Resurrection is Act 2 of a 3-part, you know, play, so to speak. You know, there's two other parts. You know, the beginning and the end of Bane's, you know, character arc, his story, his lifespan, whatever you want to call it. But I doubt those other two ever get made. You know, it took, you know, Resurrection, even though that's what we're seeing, it took, you know, pretty much writing and figuring everything out through his whole life's arc to be able to put it all together to make Resurrection make sense as a movie that can stand on its own without seeing the other two.
You wanted to do it in such a way that it could do that.
You can understand, yeah. Resurrection can stand by itself. It doesn't need a sequel. It doesn't need a prequel. It can just be it, and then that's it. That's it. You know, Bane, in all reality, does take the Order into hiding after that. So, you know, you'll never see him again.
So that's a good segue into what we were talking about earlier. Is the story about Bane, or is it about the crystal? I mean, one hand, yes.
Well, the crystal's only in one chapter of it. You know, if you were to lay it all out.
But
right,
that's the key to everything, though.
Yeah, possibly. You know, I never intended for the crystal to be the star of the film or not, the artifact. But, you know, people might say it is, but hopefully we do it justice.
Yeah, well, what's the origins of the Kyber crystal? Explain that a little bit. Because
Yeah,
you've told me before,
you'll have
but
to
that's a lot
ask
of
Lucas
shit that
himself.
remember.
You'll have to ask Lucas himself, man.
So it was his idea. That wasn't something that came from...
No, he wrote about the Kyber crystal first off. I was just, then it appeared in a book called Splinter of the Mind's Eye, I believe, back in 78 or something like that. I can't remember the author. But anyways, in writing Resurrection, you know, they had to have something to go after. They had to have a mission, you know, because it's a military style film. Believe it or not, you know, a lot of people, you know, it's you know. So the guys, they got to go on a mission. So, you know, I love Indiana Jones series, and he's always going after artifacts, right? So that's what I gave them, an artifact to go after that, you know, that you know, Khan stumbles upon and discovers and wants it for himself. So he sends the guys out to go get it and retrieve it, you know, so they can do away with the infectious Jedi of the galaxy. So.
Infectious. Are those con words of yours? Infectious Jedi.